So I'm with Jawad at the Leeds protest, Free Palestine.
I was in the impression that essentially, we know what happened in Southport recently.
Yeah.
And essentially, before the active suspect was released, the information, there was a large misinformation campaign saying that the person who had stabbed those three girls was a Muslim asylum seeker who had come to this country and all that. So, because of that misinformation campaign, that's where a lot of the riots in Southport kicked off, right? And it's after that, you see Tommy Robinson, you see the far right, it's actually calling for similar riots and similar protests happening across the country. There's a big list. It was happening in Sunderland yesterday, and Sunderland was a bit horrible. One Liverpool today. Birmingham's going to have one tomorrow as well. There's a lot going on. And essentially, the reason why they're saying this is because the government part is because they feel like the government's pandering to Muslim terrorists, essentially, right? And even though the fact that the person who did stab those girls was Christian African from immigrant parents. Now, victimization of Islam on Muslims, especially in this kind of climate, is a constant thing with the far right. And the far right, like so with misinformation campaign, they will have any excuse to take any excuse to try and victimize any Muslim population or any population for minorities. I mean, we heard the chancellor saying earlier when we were over there, they were saying things like dirty khakis, want your gun, where's Gaza, it's bombed, you got no Gaza, stuff like that, right?
Like when I came in, like I've heard abuse being hurled from this side as well. So when I came, because obviously I'm not trying to say it's one side or both sides, I'm on neither side. Obviously, I side with you guys with genocide in Palestine. That shouldn't be happening. Children should be safe, should be protected, and should be able to live in a civilized world globally, right? So that should be going on for whatever reasons it's going on, political and all that, but that's away from the point of what this is right now, in the sense that these people have come out to protest against corruption in the government. They've got nothing against Gaza and what's going on, but when the abuse was being called, and they were being called abusive words, they felt like they needed to defend themselves.
I think that's where respectfully man was, because what we're protesting against is the far right. And there's a vicious, horrible rise of the far right.
So you guys actually have come out to protest against them?
Against the far right, against fascism rising.
What if I tell you that them people in there is just Leeds community-based people, feel that their communities are going to be let down by their government? Like, that they actually agree with that Gaza shouldn't be going through what they're going through. And that, as I said, if you're both fighting for corruption against the government, like corruption shouldn't be happening, why are people fighting each other?
Third thing, these are working class people, obviously. We're all working class here. That's the main thing. The thing is, the person who's saying that there's corruption in the government and there's corruption, that these guys should be protesting against it is people like Nigel Farage, people who are in Reform UK. And Reform UK has obviously called that there's corruption in the government, they want to reform the entire country. But Reform UK is basically the descendant, the love child of UKIP and BNP and Britain First and all that. And that's where you get these politicians who are not even working class and middle class, who are very upper class, but now falls millions in bank accounts, let's be real, right? Trying to manipulate the working class to say there's corruption, and the reason there's corruption is because of multiculturalism, because of what the government policies are with immigrants, with asylum seekers, and that's where you have the rise of the far right. People like Nigel Farage will manipulate the masses and manipulate the far right and instill this far right ideology to make fascism rise and rise so they can get what they want in this country. They might be thinking that they're dying against corruption.
Sorry.
Far right
I hear you, bro, but this country's always been like that. Like, look what our ancestors have been through before we've gotten here. So, the British Empire and all of that, what are you talking about? Look what they did to India. What country are you originally from?
From Kashmir.
Where's that? What part? Is it India?
It's in both Pakistan and India.
Yeah, exactly. Pakistan and India split it down the middle. You get me? They split it down the middle and caused the divide like they caused this divide here. So can't you see the hidden hand that's controlling both sides, bro? Can't you see that both sides are being manipulated to fight each other and they're fighting for the same thing? That's my point, that's all I'm saying. Because if them people are fighting for their communities because they feel their communities are being let down by the government, right? And you guys are fighting governments worldwide over genocide in Palestine, Why are you guys fighting each other?
We're fighting against the far right as well, and fascism rising, and they are representing the far right. They are chanting slurs regarding refugees. They're chanting slurs over and down, like the entire lot of them are chanting slurs against refugees, chants against asylum seekers, chants against Muslims. And these are the same guys. Most of them aren't even from Leeds. They're from like Sunderland and different areas.
I spoke to most of them. They're from Leeds.
They still have the ideology of the far right, and until they realise what they're thinking right now is wrong, they might have the one reasons of corruption in the government. However much of that they can believe, fair enough. I'm not a governmental corruption
specialist.
But
it's just that, like I said,
they are the far right.
I reckon it's a miscommunication that's going on here. That's my point. And if people really saw what people are fighting for, you'd see that it mirrors. And the end line of that is government corruption. That's it, and that's where I leave it at, my friend. But thank you very, very much for your words, and I very much appreciate what you said because you shared a lot. But I just hope that one day some sort of dialogue can be formed between all sides that want to protest against anything, so they realise the one fundamental thing: we're all human beings, we're all humanity. So we all need to be able to speak about things before we fight and abuse each other and seem as if we hate each other, because it doesn't help either side, and all it's going to do is make it look like one side's fighting another.
Where is this going exactly?